Good evening, guys. It's Sunday night, 10 p.m. UK time, and welcome to the APAT show. Lee, my co-host, tell everybody, because this is a first for us. We haven't done Twitch poker before. Tell everybody what APAT is.
So yeah, for those that are tuning in and joining us on twitch.tv/poker for the first time, APAT, the Amateur Poker Association and Tour, has been around for nearly 15 years now, running live events all around the globe. Obviously, the same as everybody in the last 18 months, we've been very much focused on our online offering, and the APAT show has been here every Sunday night for, it feels like a lifetime now.
Oh, a lifetime,
it feels
Lee.
like we've been
A
doing this for a
lifetime.
long, long time. But we've been here on a Sunday night pretty much to bring the culmination of a normal week for us. But of course, it's not any normal week for us, because once a month we have our championship weekend, and that is right where we are now on a Sunday night.
Championship weekend, Lee. That means medals, right?
It sure does. It does. We've got two main events going on: No Limit Hold'em and a PLO event on Party Poker tonight. Both are deep into the or getting close to the money actually in one of them now, and we've got 4 events in total on the go. So shall I run you through what we've got in play tonight?
Do tell,
and
please.
I've got to go, because I said this to Des before we started. I've late regged for the last of them tonight, and I've had a bit of a flyer to start with. I'm in a hand here at the moment, Des. Actually, I'm going to have to just hang on. Bear me a second.
Well, listen, you play out your hand.
I'm shoving. Sorry, I've shoved all in. I've got queens against nines and against fives. Richard King's hit his 5, and then Sir Guy's hit his straight, turned his straight. I've ended up third. 5s versus 9s versus queens. How is that possible? I don't know. I do not know. But anyway.
Well, I tell you guys, let me just reiterate what the A in APAT stands for, and that is amateur. And despite the fact that Lee has a 6-figure score behind him, he somehow has managed to spew a ton of chips in a single hand there. That's the way it goes, right? It's Sunday night. It's poker. It's what we do.
Extraordinary. It's exactly what it's all about. So let me run you through what we've got going on tonight then. So already completed. It started at 5 o'clock UK time. It was the monthly deep stack. That had $3,000 guarantee on that. That was won by Maurice O'Connell from Ireland, Patrick Den Ouden from the Netherlands in second, and Tom Oddlehill from the Netherlands in third. Well done to everybody else that cashed in that. 7 o'clock was the No Limit Hold'em main event. $10,000 guarantee in that. We are down to 32 runners at the moment. We're paying top 27. That will stop at 16 runners tonight, and those 2 tables will come back to play to a conclusion tomorrow evening. 8 o'clock UK time, the PLO main event started. That's got a $4,000 guarantee, 74 runners in that. That is paying top 13, and the same with that when we get down to a final table. Actually, no, it's because it's 74. Actually, it's going to be 2 tables, actually. So when we get down to 14 runners on that will come back tomorrow night as well. And finally, the event that I've just spewed some chips in, the 9 o'clock, it's the monthly closer, $2,000 turbo bounty hunter. That's got 90 runners in that, $10,000 guaranteed in that, paying top 14. And we're going to try and keep you abreast of all of the action.
Fantastic. Beautiful, Lee. And of course, guys, if you haven't played APAT before, and goodness knows we come to a lot of countries, right? So you will get a chance in future if you're just hearing of us now. But it's not just about the prize money. It is also about national rankings. Players playing in these events pick up ranking points. They get their position in leaderboards and so on and so forth. It's also about APAT medals and bracelets, right, at our annual World Championship of Amateur Poker, which this year did take place online at Party Poker. And I think we generated somewhere close to $900,000 in prize money. So it was indeed a pretty chunky event. So Lee, where do you want us to go here? I've got 4 tables up. This is the main event. And I think maybe one of these is a PLO table. Shall we zoom in on the main event?
Yeah, can do. Yeah, let's see if we can pick up some of the runners we've got going.
Let's try this one. I see Dan Elston on here, a well-known APAT player,
and Rob Green I see as well there, who was chip leader earlier on in the tournament. Lost a few chips now along the way, but still Still going strong. So yeah, with the APAT show, we pretty much just follow along what you'd be watching if you were railing at home, really. So there's not really much of a delay on this. I think it's probably about 15-20 second delay. But obviously we don't show whole cards. But we will just follow some of the action, some of our players, and have a chat to you guys in the chat. So
Fantastic.
just get you any questions or messages or anything in there. I can see Frank Bailey's in there.
Frankie B.
Des, yeah. So obviously we're new to learning anybody's username, so we'll pick those up as we go. But I'm sure there's plenty of people that we will know. So do introduce yourself, so we'll know who you are, and we can give you a shout out as we go.
Fantastic little table that we've opened up here, Lee. Not only do we have Dan Austin and Rob Green, but I see Jan Strazazar, who picked up a WCOAP bracelet early on in the WCOAP, as I remember it. Yanni Carousel is on that table as well. He's just pushed all in. He's only been a raise from
Leandro and Dan Austin. I mean, you could say it's a squeeze play. It's only for about another 10 bigs more than Leandro had already put in. He'd raise it up to sort of 14.5 bigs. Decision now for Leandro. I mean, he's got nearly 40 bigs behind, so you'd kind of assume that he probably will make the call, whether or not the big blind even comes into play here, because and he does. It's ace king versus kings versus ace queen. Oh, ace on the flop. It's going to give Leandro a serious problem, and Dan's going to outkick a Yanni and scoop a huge pot there.
Wow, unlucky Yanni.
Especially with one of the aces out of play. Dan wasn't going to want to see Yanni holding an ace as well, unfortunately there, but has managed to find one on the flop, and a decent pot for the Welshman. That is for sure.
And away we go. It feels like we're away here, Lee. Now, I have to say, technically, it's our first sort of official stream to Twitch. I'd hoped to have had some functionality to put comments up on screen, but I haven't got that at the moment, so that's something we're going to have to work on ahead of next week. Clearly, some additional update required, but I am seeing the comments on mobile device, so do get them in, guys, and we shall respond. Although, as you said, Lee, there's a whole host of new names to learn here.
Yeah, we will get there with it. So of course, apart from it being the championship weekend, it's obviously the conclusion of our weekly leaderboard ladders. If you've not come across that before, just go on to apat.com, go and have a look at rankings and weekly rankings, and you'll see it all explained there. Basically, all of the APAT tournaments that we play during the week, if you cash, you earn points, and the top 20 players at the end of the week will earn some additional tickets. And if you're in the top 20 the following week, you play for a higher value ticket. And basically, you can keep going all the way up from step 1 up the ladder right up to step 5. We've got a couple of players on step 5 at the moment. Top of the leaderboard going into tonight was Kevin Brzozowski from the UK. He's on step 1, but he's had 3 cashes this week, so doing quite well. Closely followed by Igor Asimov from Germany. He's on step 5 and has had 4 cashes this week so far. Brendan Byrne is in 4th at the moment. He's on step 4 and has had 4 cashes this week. Gordon MacArthur and Di Farrell are also in the top 20 as well. They're on steps 4 and step 5. And Tony Ross, who's a regular for picking up tickets with us with our added value, is in the mix as well. So
I thought we banned him. Didn't we ban him, Lee? Is he still around? What?
He's still doing well for himself. And I've just run 7s into 9, and I've binked a 7 on the flop against Martino Ferraro. I apologize, Martino, in the closer game, the PKO Turbo. So I'm back up to 140k again.
Is this the respect? Is this the respect we have for the membership?
Oh, well,
he's going to balk them, and
I got it in good, didn't I, a minute ago with queens versus 5s and 9s, and I came 3rd. So isn't that poker? I think it's what they call variance, isn't it? Very much the case. So I will take that back up to 140k. There's 33 runners left in that. But I'm getting shown no respect. I did say to Des, I late regged for it, and I sat down in the big blind first hand and got dealt aces, and I thought, no one's going to believe this.
And they didn't.
Bust a player, and I went from 50k to 140,000 in one hand. It's poker, isn't it? It's the way
Listen, Lee, and the guys will know this who are used to watching us. We vary occasionally our content, right? We don't always talk about poker. Poker tends to make up about 10% of a show, if I'm honest, but maybe a bit more on a championship weekend. But talking about variance, right? Variance. I don't know if you saw this over the last couple of days. This was a fire in the Gulf of Mexico. Have you seen this? Watch this.
Crazy.
What in the holy God?
How do you put something like that out?
Well, that is the ultimate invariance, right? Yeah. You figure you're probably quite safe from fire, albeit you're on an oil rig, admittedly, but in the middle of the ocean, right? In the middle of the Gulf. But apparently not. That was an insane leak and resulting fire.
Yeah. I don't quite know what you do to resolve that, but I'm sure they will find a way. Oh, so Polly 1787 is Mark S. That's maybe Mark Shepstone, I presume.
Okay.
Quite possibly. Although, I mean, I'm sure we've got one or two Mark S's in our membership. To be honest,
we've got a few. I have to say, do extend beyond the S if you can, because
I'm going to assume it's Mark Shepstone who's been playing regularly with us, and has done quite well on a number of the leaderboards. But I saw he was playing tonight as well. See whether he was still in.
Mark's due on as a guest soon, isn't he?
Yes, we're going to guess. Mark's was put himself forward to come on the show at some point, so we will get him on there.
Well, I tell you what, Lee, he sounds qualified to get the kettle on, right? He sounds qualified, and we always like a cup of tea on this show. So
that's what it's all
Polly,
about.
Put that kettle on.
It's the only reason we do the APAT show, so I can have a cup of tea at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night. So,
there we go.
I mean, I'd be very surprised,
he's on your table, Lee. He's on your table.
He is, yes.
Oh dear.
Sat opposite me, yes. That's and I've got him covered, and I'm eyeing up his bounty as well. So we'll be
we'll have that.
We'll be good from there. But I'm sure a lot of the English players tonight are still getting over last night's football and the hangovers that will have followed on from it, I guess.
What did you make of the performance? Obviously, you're Welsh, I'm Irish. I think we can independently discuss this game.
I thought they dealt with what was put in front of them pretty efficiently and looked good. I mean, you'd have to say that they're probably the best squad left in the tournament. If the best squad's going to win the tournament, then it should be England.
Now the Belgians will be the first to tell you that the best squad doesn't always win.
Of course not.
But you'd have to say it's just hard to find fault with England in any department, really. I mean, they seem well motivated. The team seems to be very together. They've got a great manager doing fantastic work. Everybody's in form. Everybody seems to be getting a game. So I doubt the odd injury here or there in the last game or two will count against them. They seem in pole position, albeit, of course, the Danes will not be easy because they're a very workmanlike team. They'll be far stronger than Ukraine were. And the passion that you'll get out of either an Italy or a Spain in the final will also be, I think, something new for England to come up against.
There's two things to go with here, isn't it? Because, I mean, Denmark are in a situation where it kind of feels like they've not got anything to lose. Obviously, coming on the back of what happened to Christian Eriksen earlier on in the tournament, it feels like there's a little bit they may be thinking there's a bit of fate here. There's a bit of like this is meant to be. I don't know. And obviously they've got a lot of support from sort of became everybody's second team, didn't they? Really. So if England can overcome them, I think I've a feeling they'll probably play Italy in the final. Who I don't know whether you watched the end of the Italian game the other night.
Not Immobile, no.
It was extraordinary. Their match management to see out that game was incredible. There was 5 minutes of added time, which got announced, and they didn't play about the last 90 seconds of the game because somebody was injured. I think the keeper went down, and they didn't then play about 4 minutes of the
Yeah.
5 minutes for one reason or another, and he added another 2 on, so it got to 97 minutes, and he killed. But basically, yeah, they just killed the last 10 minutes of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
The ball was in play for about a minute or 2 minutes of it, falling over for anything. And I don't, have you seen the clip of the
Immobile.
you know, obviously him going down and then seeing the goal go in, look up, having a look at the referee, and going off to celebrate?
He looked a
How
bit
he is,
sheepish, but
how he is
crikey,
not. Now, if that was rugby union, he'd have been cited for that
I'd have been
after the
beaten
game.
up after the game.
Yeah. But he'd have been cited for it after the game, and it would have been treated as a, you know, bringing the game into disrepute and goodness knows what else. And funnily enough, of all the people that I saw tweet about this today, the other day, Daniel Negreanu tweeted
I saw
about it.
that. I saw
Did you
that.
see it? Did
He
you see
called it shit, didn't he?
And
We've got to do away with this shit.
Until we do away with this and you fine these players and everything else, it's never going to stop. And actually, I thought, yes, Daniel, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I know you're a Canadian ice hockey fan, and I don't know how much you follow soccer, but
Soccer ball,
yeah,
please.
yeah. But 100%, you've got to.
Yeah.
These players have got to be called out for this kind of stuff, and it's got to be dealt with. It just has got to be.
But that aside, what an amazing championship it is being, right? Even though the Welsh are gone, the Scots are gone, the Irish didn't make it. It has been great. There's been a lot of, you know, what I would call, you know, independent games that I've watched that I thought, great game.
Well, I said there's been, do you know what's been really weird? There's been lots of really great games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's been a standout performance, whether that be a team or an individual. It's been a very kind of, sort of average type, you know, quality wise. Normally you'll see some of the big, you know, the big stars, somebody already grabbed the tournament and you'll go, oh wow, they were just, you know, that was their tournament. You can't really say that. I mean, if you were picking a player of the tournament now, who would you pick? You know, and we've only got 3 games to go. So, and ultimately it shouldn't be results driven. It should be, you know, driven by, you know, players' ability. So we've seen the majority of the tournament now. Who would you pick as a player of the tournament?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't think you could easily pick a player of the tournament, but I have to say, all of the teams seem to be playing to the best of their ability in the same way, which is up, down, up, down, up, down. It's a bit like schoolyard football. It really is, you know, kick it up and chase, and then Christ, get back before we're caught in the break. It does feel like, you know, it's not at all defensive. I mean, we've seen championships like this many times where teams will come out and defend to the nth degree, and it's horrible to watch. Don't get a sense that anybody's really entered the tournament to do that to the best of their ability, right? Some are clearly not as good as others,
and arguably at the moment it's England that have just dodged. Yeah, they've not dropped on their level. Some of their games have not been great to watch, but you've never felt that a game was getting away from them.
Yeah, they're playing within themselves. Absolutely.
Anything like that. So just for anyone that's not familiar with party poker, table's just going to hand for hand because we are down to 29 runners now in this main event, and it will pay top 27. As I mentioned earlier on, play will stop tonight when we get down to 16 runners. So we've got to lose about another 13 now. So we'll just be playing hand for hand with the 4 tables we've got left open at the moment until we get through the money bubble. So hopefully that won't take too long. Yeah, so it very much, it feels like it's England's to sort of lose. They're not going to get a better chance than this, I don't think, to pick up a major, you know, a major tournament. And I mean, the good thing from an England point of view, I can say this as a Welshman quite, you know, happily, is that you look at the age of that squad and where a lot of those squad are playing and the teams that those players are playing for, and you just think they are only going to get better.
Well, the World Cup's only a year and a bit away, right?
They are only going to get better because you've got Kane kind of coming into his prime, and then around him just a whole group of super talented youngsters. And there's nobody there in that team at the moment that you're kind of going, oh, well, they're kind of coming to the end of their career, and there's nobody really to step up and replace them. I mean, I guess is Kyle Walker about the oldest?
Yeah, he probably is, but Kyle's got an incredible burst of pace. So, you know,
But again, if you're looking at a right back, okay, so let's see who's not making it.
that's true.
We've talked about right backs on this
No
show
shortage
before
of
for
right
England.
backs.
There is no shortage of right backs. I think Luke Shaw has played
He's done well.
an absolute blinder. It does make as a Man United fan, it does kind of make me question. I think last night he picked up his 15th cap at 25, and you kind of think if he'd not had his injuries and not had to put up with Jose, psychologically scarring him for 3 years, you wonder how many England caps he would have picked up by now. Because
I agree.
When he was coming through Southampton and we signed him, you kind of said, well, he's England's left back for the next 10 years, surely. Going to be. And it kind of went off a little bit, but still, he's only 25. It feels like he's been around for a lifetime. But
and I don't think there's been an outstanding left back in that England squad over the last sort of 5 or 6 years. So, this is his opportunity. He's grasping it big style. Of course, the big news of the week was the pretty much the done and dusted signing of Jadon Sancho by United. What do you make of that?
Yeah, well, it's a long time coming, and it sounds like there's lots of rumours that have come out that it was sort of done earlier on in the year, and it was just waiting for it to happen. I never know with United quite. I mean, the best thing about it is the rumour that's come out which says we're paying for it over 5 years, 5 instalments. Well, if that's what we've agreed, that's just makes perfect sense to me. I'm very excited about getting in the side. I think with him and another couple of signings, I do think we're going to be in a pretty strong position for next year. Still don't think we're quite up there with City and arguably, Liverpool's starting 11 if everybody's fighting fit. But yeah, we're definitely going in the right place. And I don't think that's a ridiculous fee to be paying for someone of Jadon Sancho's ability.
Oh no, crikey!
Definitely
no.
Not. When you see some of the money banding it around, I still think Pogba might go, but we'll see what happens with that. But be very happy. Obviously, with all these things, it's agreed in principle and everything. Of course, whilst the Euros are on, nothing seems to be happening, doesn't it? I see there's a few managers starting to slot into the English Premier League.
That's
now,
right.
and that stuff coming together.
Patrick Vieira announced as the manager of Crystal Palace today. Be really interesting to see how he does there. He was pretty highly thought of within the Man City setup. Obviously he was never going to displace Pep, but he worked at New York City, which I think was within the Man City group. So it'll be really interesting to see how he does here. I'm sure he won't be another Thierry Henry who was outstanding on the pitch but wasn't so hot off of it. So good luck to him.
Yeah. As I said, the main event wouldn't take long to burst the money bubble, and we're into the money now.
26 left.
The unfortunate player that finished in 28th was Frederick Vermeulen from Belgium. So unlucky to you, Frederick. But yeah, all those are in the money. So down to 26 already, and as I say, it'll play down to 16 tonight, and that will stop for the night. The PLO. We'll play down to 14. That's only got 2 more players to go. We're down to 16 already with that, so we're not quite in the money with that one actually. With the way that structures work tonight, actually we're going to bring 14 players back, and actually only 13 are going to get paid. So someone's going to be unfortunately have is going to miss out with that tomorrow. I think what we'll probably do is actually I'll find out who the 14th player is in the PLO tomorrow, and we'll give them a ticket. Because that kind of sucks having to come back for a day 2 and not making the money, as it's only one of them. So we'll sort whoever finishes 14th in the PLO out.
Nice.
An extra ticket for online.
Well done.
Because I've only just noticed that's the way that's structured. Sometimes the automated structures on Party just can work out like that, a little bit quirky. So last thing we want is somebody going home empty-handed, having come back for a day 2.
No,
especially if they bagged up all their chips tonight, Des, and written their name on. They've written their name on the
bag. It takes so long to count these chips, and
thing.
they're very small, Lee. They're very small. These chips,
Yeah, so we'll make sure they're looked after, whoever that ends up being.
Fantastic. Listen, some hot news, some hot insight from the chat box. Chase Twitch said Polly put the kettle on from Greece, right? Busted in 56th. So there was a Polly put the kettle. That wasn't what I was referring to, but that's good to hear.
That's all. Yeah, that all works.
Small world, this poker world, I have to say.
Absolutely. So in this main event now, blinds are 6,000, 12,000, and our chip leader at the moment is is Roman Matchvichuk from Russia at the moment. Actually, quite a mix of
He's
players
pushed.
in this tonight.
Roman's pushed all in here
Yeah.
against Jan Strazes there.
Who's going to have to call because he's only got 4,500 behind.
I think he will.
So he's going to, I hope he's not going to time out here, and he is going to make this call. Jan, please press call. Don't do this to us. Unless he's slow playing with aces.
Ace
Jack against nines.
He'll take the race. There's
but that's
the
not
nine.
what you want to see. Nine pretty much, puts an end to that. And so we lose Jan, and Roman adds to his stack. So he was a player I said was chip leader. He's now got over 1 million chips with blinds at 6,000, 12,000.
It's the classic example there, Lee, of Ace Jack looking reasonably pretty when you're in the small blind, but when the big blind, the tournament chip leader, pushes all in over the top of you, it doesn't look as pretty. Your underwear get a little bit tighter.
Yeah, it's not ideally what you want, is it really? But say Roman's got the chips to be able to make those moves. So and he certainly is going to have a decent stack now going into this day 2 tomorrow night. 24 players left. I'm just seeing whether Stephen Mullen is going to call my all-in shove in the PKO turbo game. Whether I'm going to get this one through, and I do get it through. I was on a flush draw though, Des, so it was all good. Do you know what I mean? I'd have hit, obviously. So so it was a good fold from Stephen Mullen. Well done. Right decision there. So Dan Howson in this hand, 3 spades on the board. And
I tell you, listen.
Lorenz from Germany has re-raised it. Let's see what Dan's going to do now.
That's an ugly looking flop, Lee.
Decision back on Dan. That was Lorenz. That's for about a third of his stack there. He's raised it up by.
Let's it go. Yeah,
well, I mean, Dan's playing about 30 bigs, 380,000. Now doesn't really need to get too involved. I suppose it's it's whether if you've not got any spades in your hand, then it's very difficult to want to continue on that board, really. Especially against a player coming out of the blinds, it's a lot harder to put them on a range. So Stephen Mullen picks up a nice pot in on my table and knocks a player out.
I see on your post on Facebook redirecting people to Twitch for tonight's stream. Yanni did put a comment on there. Apparently he's trying to sign up for Twitch, but his password wasn't strong enough. Couldn't find a strong enough password. They wouldn't let him on.
Really? Wow.
Incredible stuff. He clearly needs one of those encryption machines just to, produce the right level.
I'm pretty sure the passwords don't need to be that strong. I think it's just some numbers and some letters. I think is normally enough. Maybe a symbol for good measure, but that's all it should need.
I don't get it, Lee. It won't it just won't accept password 1 2 3 4. What's wrong with it? It's got both numbers and letters and a capital.
ABC 1 2 3. I don't know what the issue is. Yeah, I can't work it out. Yeah. We're just we're one off play stopping in the PLO tonight. They're down to 15 players now. We're down to 22 in the closer that I'm sat in at the moment. 14 players getting paid in that.
And we're going to go down to 16 in the main league, correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So we're down to 3 tables now. So we're basically
we have 24.
Lose one more table complete, and then we'll be done. So be really interesting this week. Seeing stuff coming out of Vegas. Lots of big tournaments going on there. The Win getting a lot of love for their organization and the way they're running their tournaments over there at the moment.
10 million guaranteed, right?
Yeah. The Venetian getting a little bit of stick for having players left queuing for a long time and then having to queue to then get a table, and yeah, just not a huge amount of love for what they were doing. But yeah, the win, it looks very impressive. And obviously Toby Lewis ended up in the final three of that.
Did he?
They
Great
yeah
going. Missed
they
that.
did a deal. Yeah, they did a deal in the end. For so I think he ended up picking up 1.2 million, I think it was,
Wow.
in the end. I
Sweet.
did see a comment from I think it was Chad Holloway, was from Poker News, was saying that there was some tough negotiation in the discussion for the chop, and apparently I think the chip leader was trying to get a little bit more, and apparently it was overheard. Toby's response back was something along the lines of, well, if we want to start dick swinging,
Then let's get him on the table. Let's do it.
So apparently the deal just then got done. Yeah.
Yeah.
So how true that is, I don't know, because it was from Twitter. It was from Twitter, so I don't know, but it's a good story.
Toby will have, he'll have learned a lot of his negotiation in the early years, during which he played APAT. A lot of the really good British players have played APAT back in the day.
Based out of Southampton in the UK.
Great little player.
Yeah, absolutely. Gone on to huge things. So of course the interesting thing is that means there are UK players over in Vegas at the moment. It's very difficult to work out whether the US are letting people in or whether anyone's letting us in from the UK at the moment. Nobody seems to want to let us in anywhere, but I do get the impression that Vegas and the US is fairly open to UK. So I'm a little bit more confident about a Vegas trip now than I was last week, Des. So
yeah. Now apparently what you got to do, Lee, right, if you want to get in, right, you got to go down to Southampton, right, on the train, right? You got to get a train. You got to get a train out of Paddington. Is it Paddington, Lee? Is it Paddington to Southampton? I have my doubts, but Waterloo. There you go. Waterloo. Yeah. There's a song in that. Anyway, yeah. Waterloo to Southampton, right? Then you get on a Cunard cruise to Bermuda. Now that takes 3.5 weeks, right? It goes around a lot of countries, but 3.5 weeks, right? You just keep your head down, right? Don't go into the casino on the boat. Don't do that, because you're going to be playing with the older folks, and frankly, they don't respect a hand. So you get to Bermuda, right? You pay a man, right? You get in a little two-seater boat. Over you go to Mexico, and then you go across. Obviously, you go across that big fence that never quite made it, and you're in. That's it. It's Perfect. As simple as that. Then you get a Greyhound to Vegas. Bob's your uncle.
And then you're there. That's all you need to do. Yeah. So but I must admit, it did look quite. It looks quite good. A lot of players playing. Some big guarantees, big prize pools being made. And I can see a lot of people kind of saying, "Yeah, I want to get there now. This looks like it's opening up." I saw a tweet today from Rob Young in the UK back in his poker club in Nottingham up at Dusk to Dawn. He was doing one of his little back in again, checking it out, but very much got the impression that he was okay. We're a month out from restrictions all being lifted, so we
great.
Start making some plans. So
fantastic. Love to see it
as well for UK poker. So
I have to say, I think Dusk Till Dawn opening will be a huge positive indicator for UK poker players that stuff is beginning to come back. I mean, I saw a post from Peter Wigglesworth, who went into London over the last few days to play at the Hippodrome. Yeah. And he seemed to really enjoy it. Wasn't in the tourney for a whole lot of hours, but he was okay with the plexiglass. He was sort of a little uncomfortable with playing in a mask for a period of time, but it sounds as if that sort of stuff is going to be going away sooner than maybe some of us thought, which is a good thing. If it's done safely, that's a good thing. But I guess the big light is the World Series of Poker. So obviously taking place later in the year in Vegas. I think that'll be the event ultimately targeted by the majority to determine when we all get back to normal.
Big pot there for Dan Houston against Lorenz from Germany. Didn't see obviously didn't go to showdown, but that puts Dan up over 500,000 in chips now, and puts him fourth as we've got Leandro all in against Carlos. Sevens versus 9. The sevens gets there on the flop, and he gets a double up.
So really, really good structure here, Lee, but it's beginning to bite now. So even Dan in fourth is still only sat with 38 big blinds. He can't afford to make too many mistakes at this point.
No, I think we're down. So we're down to 21, and as I said, we're playing to 16. So if you roughly look where 16th is, or 17th position at the moment, 17th position at the moment is 100, got 145,000 chips, which is effectively 10 bigs.
Yeah.
So really, that 17th to 21st at the moment are playing 10 bigs or less. Um, yeah, they're really going to be needing to look to make a move. I don't think they're going to be kind of hanging on there for the day two with less than 10 bigs. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of action here now. We've obviously got two of those on this table that we're watching in Carlos and Lawrence, and actually Leandro's not a million miles off that. He's currently in 16th of the 20 players remaining. So we've got three of the shorter stacks on this table, with obviously the chip leader um, to their right. So it's it's not going to be easy for them to get to get anything through here.
No. It certainly will not.
That's for sure.
No.
And of course, the other players, the mid stacks, are not messing about either. So a raise from Leandro Gomez here has seen Gasper Sivek re-pop it to 92,000. Chip leader gets out the way.
As this action unfolds, we've got Baba Yaga in the chat box saying, "Evening, guys. Evening to you, Baba." That's a great name. I can't link it to anyone I know anywhere in the world at all.
No, that's the problem. We will get there with this. So for anybody that's a regular at the APAT show, we normally stream on our Facebook group, and we've moved over to the twitch.tv/poker, so effectively the poker channel on Twitch TV. To stream on a Sunday night. So welcome if you're new. Welcome if you're new to APAT.
Absolutely.
And if you've been here before, you know that we'll talk poker. We'll follow the APAT games that are on Party Poker on a Sunday night. But we also like to have a chat about anything else going on in the world.
We do
as well.
Baba, right? Baba is Eddie. So Eddie Niaskiao. We've also got in there Twitch Lookbox Evening All, and that transpires it's Igor. Okay,
and Big
so
Daddy
Igor
Poker is Dan Walsh as well. So yeah.
Fantastic. And Big Daddy Poker currently 11th of 20 in the main event, hoping to make day two. Well, best of luck to you with that, Dan.
Yeah, so Daniel Walsh, he's currently 12th now. 12th. He's got 300,000. So he's got just over 20 bigs. Which hopefully we'll see him get through to the final. Eddie X is also in there as well. He's got about the same as Dan actually, and he's currently in 13th. And I hadn't mentioned that Richard King, who does just so consistent with our Sunday night, our main event on a Sunday night, is currently 9th of the 20 players remaining. So just ridiculously consistent. Powered by Christmas chocolates. He does very, very well. But if you're listening in, Richard, we genuinely are in awe, because it seems to be every Sunday we go main event, who's left in, and we go, oh, Richard King's still in.
So really, we should be the ones learning at this point, and we should be saying, who's left in with Richard King.
Yeah, it would be easier, wouldn't it, to be honest?
So we've got Dan's table up now at the moment, Lee. We'll just keep an eye on this as we near the bubble. We have 20 left. 16 will be our closing point.
So he's got Rob Green on that table as well, and obviously they've got their Samuel Russi Majeur, who from Canada, who's one of the short stacks really, 18th of 20 players remaining. So only got 6.5 bigs there now. So you'd kind of guess it's Samuel and Rob that the other guys are going to be targeting. There's actually nobody that's got a big, massive stack here, really, to be able to do it. I guess because even so, if you take Inigo, who Navarro or Navarro, he's second in chips, but it's 50 bigs. It's if he goes and doubles up a Rob Green or something, that's a serious dent into his stack. It's 20% of his stack there gone. So it's quite shallow stacks at the moment, really, which could work in the favor of the short stacks here. Samuel and Robert, and potentially Dan as well, if Dan decides he wants to try and build a stack for tomorrow. I guess now is the opportunity to try and do it, because it's very easy for a short stack to apply pressure to a mid stack at the table. If you've not got a real kind of table captain that's actually bossing it, then it's very tough for these players to want to then call off if they want to make the day two. And it's slightly different online, because I don't think it matters as much. Certainly in a live environment, it would be players have got there is this psychological thing, isn't there, about bagging up chips and making a day two.
Absolutely.
And everything that comes with it. So PLO is done for the night. We are down to 14 players in that. Marcus Nord from Sweden is our chip leader. Stefan Gruber from Germany in second, and Joachim Kobel from Austria in third. Couple of mentions just for some of the UK players. Andy Heath is there as well. Yanni, Richard Rudling Smith has made it through to day two as well. So we'll be following all of their action tomorrow night from 7 o'clock. So the No Limit Hold'em starts at 7 o'clock UK time tomorrow, and the PLO will start at 8 o'clock. And we will be back on the Twitch channel.
Fantastic.
With the APAT show to follow that both those to a conclusion tomorrow night. I'm still in the closer.
Are you still in the closer? What?
I can only assume I've not really been paying much attention, so I can only assume I'm probably short. Oh wow, I'm not even short. So I'm 15th of 19, and it's paying 14. So yeah, that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Yeah, but I might have to actually start playing some hands in a minute.
You go for it.
I must admit, I've kind of not been. I've kind of just been clicking fold quite a lot. I'm getting massively bullied by the table. Clearly, I've got Dan Austin to my right. So
you're in good company then.
Yeah. Let's see whether Dan does anything from the button here. Not, he doesn't. Well, I'm going to be going all in from the small blind. Might well get a call. The guy's got me. He's got triple my stack. No, I'll get that one through. That's all right. So we'll add back a little bit. So just say we're down to still 20 now. So we need to lose another 4 in this this main event for the night. Then we will we'll watch the conclusion of the closer that I'm currently playing in at the moment.
Well, Pedro is all in the main here, and he's facing Richard King. He's got to make a decision. He's got 22 blinds left. He's got 9 to call. Oh, we've got an establishing connection. I think we're back online.
Yeah, we're all good. All good. So yes, so Dan's say multi-tabling if at least, well, it'd be at least 2 here. Obviously, he's got 2 APAT games that he's still running in Dan Austin, but chances are he's probably playing some other bits and pieces as well tonight. It's got a bit cagey, isn't it? With say 20 left. Say it's these real short stacks that are clinging on, but at some point they're going to have to just take a bit of a punt and see if they can get a double up and try and get some momentum going into tomorrow.
Absolutely. Igor's there saying in the chat box, it's going to be the longest bubble in Omaha history.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Well, so we will sort a ticket out for whoever doesn't cash tomorrow. I'm just talking on the main event. So the guys already, as we said, they're down to 20 at the moment, so they're guaranteed $150 already for this $50 buy-in. Top prize, which will be paid out obviously tomorrow, is $2,131, just under $1,500 for second, and just over $1,000 for third. And obviously they are the medal positions. So gold, silver, and bronze for both the No Limit Hold'em main event and the PLO main event will be dished out tomorrow. If you're lucky enough to finish in one of those positions, but say nice payday, just over $2,000, Des, for a $55 buy-in, and you can feed her into this from $5.50. Actually, you can even satellite in to get a $5.50 token for like $1. So yeah, there's hopefully there'll be plenty of stories of people that have run deep and had a decent cash from a very low buy-in, which is always nice.
I'll tell you what, Lee, I don't know if we're going to suffer on this or not, but my internet's going a bit skewy at the moment.
It's looking smooth. Looking smooth on Twitch, and I'm hearing you perfectly well through the
That's
studio.
good.
So all good at the moment. Not a problem at all.
Good, good.
So, of course, everything's just going to be like focused now on Tuesday and Wednesday with the football, isn't it? Really, that's going to be the.
Yeah, it's a
And we
big
could
last
be
week.
we could be doing an APAT show next Sunday night, off the back of a of an England win at Wembley in the final, because that's a week today, isn't it?
There'll be tears and beers. Tears and
Oh,
beers, Lee.
absolutely. How many are they allowing in for the final? 200,000 out there. You can all sit on each other's laps. Yeah, it's pretty much get as many into the ground as you can. Don't worry about whether you've been double vaxxed or anything. It's all right. It's fine.
I called
Won't be
Sean
a
in.
problem.
I called Sean in. When was the game? Was it last night? Or the
Yeah,
night
it was
before?
last night.
Last night.
Last night, yeah.
So I called Sean in. Crikey, it must have been just at the start of the program, and Gary Lineker cut to Box Park in Croydon, and I said,
Yes,
Sean,
yeah.
come on in. Look, because we've gone and eaten in Box Park. It's really, really nice. And she went, yeah, it's Box Park in Croydon. It's full of football fans. She said, I had a ticket for that. What? Excuse me? You had a what? You had a ticket for... You haven't watched any of the games on telly, and you had a ticket for Box Park.
Wow.
I don't ask questions anymore.
Did you go for any tickets for the Euros before? Obviously,
I
it
did.
got delayed by
I
a
did.
year.
Yeah.
Did you? What happened? Did you get any? And then
Yes.
did you have a choice? So, or did you just give them up? Or how did it work?
I gave them up. Yeah, I had a choice, but unfortunately, Ireland didn't make it, so that withdrew a lot of my enthusiasm for the tournament, and the prices were exorbitant. They really were. They really were.
Do we know what they're doing? Are they? Is it a case of they're honouring those tickets for the semi-finals and the final? Because I think Paul Haycock has got tickets for the
and Scouts
semis
is going as well to
the
semis.
So I'm assuming it's a case of they honour those that have got the tickets first, and whoever doesn't want them, they bring them. They come back in and resell if they can.
Yeah, not entirely sure what the process was, but I believe a part of the process for the Germany game, where there was a big demand for tickets, of course, England-Germany last Saturday rather, was that an email went out with an hour's notice to sort of say a link is opening up for tickets. If you want your tickets, go and get them now. This was for people who had previously had tickets. So a lot of people were really pissed off with that, because an hour isn't a lot of time to receive that email, and if you're in a meeting or if you didn't receive the email, bad news. So I hope it's a little bit fairer for the semis and final.
I had to chuckle with the Denmark quarterfinal, though. Obviously they during the first half, and I think the commentators said, and it's a bit disappointing with the numbers that are in the ground. And I just looked up and went, it's Baku in Azerbaijan. What were they honestly expecting was going to happen?
Not even in Europe. It's that far away.
It's what were they expecting was going to happen? But some Danish fans went there. I saw that they allowed the Danish government were allowing them to not have to self-isolate or quarantine when they came back.
Yeah.
And of course, they'll be the same fans that will then turn up at Wembley on Wednesday night that we're now letting in with open arms. So I think we should just all get on with this and just let each other into each country now and crack on.
Listen, talking about getting on with it, Lee, I just haven't got an internet connection here, so there's no action taking place on any of these tables. So they're there, but I'm not seeing anything happening anywhere. So
it's
rather
all
unfortunate.
streaming. It's all streaming on Twitch perfectly well.
But
so
can't be, because I'm not seeing it. It's coming from my laptop, right? If it's not running on my laptop,
well,
can't be running on Twitch.
I'm seeing you moving tables and
Really?
whatnot on Twitch. Yeah, so,
no idea with.
And I'm hearing you perfectly well. So I wouldn't.
Okay,
overly,
well,
I'm seeing that you are trying to establish a connection every once in a while, but I'm seeing things moving. So.
Really?
So unless it's a problem with party poker,
look at a table. Are you looking at cards and chips on a table?
I was a minute ago.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been
Unless
running
it's a
really for
problem
the
with
last 5
unless it's a
minutes.
problem with party poker. Maybe it's
Now, it could be because clearly you and I are working perfectly.
yeah. As I say, we're fine. So I don't think it's an issue with that in the slightest.
But
But I'm just seeing I've got another table up, so I'm just watching now to see whether and there's stuff happening. So it could be
yeah.
your party poker connection possibly.
I mean, I'm
Uh,
clicking between the tables. That's why you're seeing tables move. But
yeah. But in exciting news, I think I may be going all in here, but I may be in a whole heap of bother if I do.
Go on, Lee. Get him in. Get him in.
It's a horrible thing to do because it's. I think we're gonna do it, but I'm gonna regret it. I think.
What are you holding?
Pocket jacks.
It's okay. Fourth best hand in the deck
Now,
at
now
this
they
point
have
in the
the
game.
original Razor's gone all in, and he had a caller as well, and I'm up against aces and ace queen, so I need a jack quite badly.
Ouch.
And it's not going to be there. What did you tell me? What'd you tell me to do that for? That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's an educational show, Lee. I've just got to advise you, statistically, the right play.
Exactly, that's it. So it's 5 to the. Are we 5 to the hour? Actually, no, we're down to. We're actually had a few exits, and we are down to 16 players.
So we've hit 16.
So we have hit 16. So I don't know whether you want to close those down and see if you can get up a table in the
Yeah,
closer.
I'm not going to do that because I have some major, and funnily enough, we've been doing this for 18 months, right? And we haven't had any connectivity issues. But for the last 10 or so minutes, I've had no connectivity at all.
I'll tell you what we can do. Hang on a minute.
Yeah.
Hang on. I have another plan. Because you've got a problem with party poker, haven't you?
So I certainly have a problem with something. Yeah.
So
I mean, I can sing.
No, you don't need to sing. Don't worry about singing. That's fine.
I'm so disappointed.
You wanted to sing. Is that what you wanted to do?
Absolutely. Bit of Ness and Dorma, I think. Okay, you've shared a table with me. Let's try this.
Yeah. So
let's have a look. See. Okay, so we're going to have to go to a slightly different place for this. Let's go to here.
So they are just again, it might look like there's nothing going on, but that's because they are hand for hand in this tournament. So that's the only reason why. So so let's just let you know where we're at with everything that we've seen so far. As I say, we've already down to 14 players in the PLO main event. That'll come back tomorrow 8 o'clock UK time to play out to conclusion. We've just seen the conclusion of the No Limit Hold'em main event tonight. That's down to 16 players. That will play out tomorrow from 7 p.m. to those 16 that are remaining. So the only tournament we've got left now running tonight starts at 9 o'clock UK time. It is the closer, $2,000 guaranteed PKO Turbo. That's paying top 14. I've just bust in 17th, and we've got 15 players left in that. So we've got currently up the table with the chip leader at the moment, who is Henrik Veldoen from Germany, and second in chips is a certain Mr. Dan Austin, who is to Henrik's left on this table. So. And third in chips is Stephen Mullen from Ireland, who is to Henrik's right. So we've got the 3 chip leaders, 1, 2, 3, on this table. So Josiah and Marc Antoine are probably wondering what they've done to deserve this. But that's kind of sometimes the way it can work, isn't it? And of course, because it's we're playing down to I think it's these are 7-handed tables, so obviously it won't break till we get to 4. So we're playing 3 tables of 5 effectively at the moment, which means it's fairly short-handed at this moment in time. But we're on the money bubble. Decent chunk of bounties up here already. Henrik has already scooped $60 worth of bounties, so it's a $22 buy-in. So Henrik has already comfortably made some nice profit from this particular one. And as whilst they were playing hand for hand, it's now gone 5 to the hour. So players are also on a 5-minute break as well. So that's where we're at. So what we'll do is obviously the leaderboard ladders for this week will not be finalized until the 2 day 2s play out tomorrow night. So we'll hold those off as we always do for the end of the month one, But we'll get those done tomorrow, and then we'll sort out the tickets for the top 20 on that leaderboard once that's sorted tomorrow. But obviously, a new leaderboard will start officially from tomorrow evening. With events are already in the lobby for tomorrow night. It's 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock UK time every night of the week, and then on a Sunday you get an extra couple 5 o'clock and 9 o'clock that you can play. So tomorrow night is a 6-max knockout, 6-max PKO, and a PLO8 game tomorrow night. Always a nice way to start the the week.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Get regular players into the PLO8 games each week. So it's always a nice way to kick off, and we can get yourself on the leaderboard. That's for sure. That's really weird that that your party link went. So
yeah, very, very strangely. Let's. I mean, sometimes just stuff happens. I've never seen that before over the last 18 months, but it definitely went. And indeed, after we switched to your table, I think got a connection lost message. So it definitely went. The other thing to note is, players can go over to apat.com. You guys can sign up for a free membership there, which will put you within our sort of, planning cycle, as it were. And hopefully we can see it here, but you can also check. I don't know if we can do this. I've got a new little application that enables you to show a window without having the browser bar at the top, which is neat.
Spectacular.
Yeah, unless you get this situation.
Unless you want your menu bit.
Absolutely, which is rather crazy because I've not seen that before, but I don't think I can do anything about it, unfortunately. So why don't we?
It's all good. So unfortunately, we put the Kybers on Dan Walsh, who was in the chat earlier on. He was 11th of 20 when he put his message up. He ended up finishing 19th, so just missed out on a day two, but still a cash though, still $150. So
absolutely brilliant. And there's your rankings, guys. So apat.com/rankings/weekly, or indeed just use the rankings menu option on apat.com, and you'll be able to see where you are within the weekly rankings.
So a normal week for us is we'll normally have a guest on the show as well. We've got a few people lined up for the next couple of weeks. Sometimes it's some of the recreational players that play for APAT. Other times it can be some better known guests that people will know from the poker industry or poker media. Last week we had David Lappin on, Unibet ambassador and podcaster and writer and blogger and all those other good things as well that he does. So but you can catch any of the APAT shows that we've done, and we've had some incredible guests on over the last 18 months. They're all available on the APAT YouTube channel, and you can just go and flick and watch any of those. Say normally the shows are an hour and a half, 2 hours long, following the poker on a Sunday night.
They're all on the APAT website as well. So at apat.com, you'll see the APAT show in the navigation.
And a lot of the players just have us on in the background on a Sunday night whilst they're seeing out whatever their poker that they're playing. Listen to whatever rubbish we decided to talk about this week. Yeah. So break's over and players are back now, 11 o'clock UK time, and we're back to this hand for hand with 15 players left in this closer, monthly closer, 2K guaranteed, progressive knockout turbo event, no limit hold'em. Blinds are now 10,000, 20,000.
So Mark's he's crying. He's crying in the chat box at the moment. 2 bad weeks on the leaderboard for me since the dizzy heights of level 5.
Yes, he worked his way all the way up there, and it just goes to show those guys that do get to level 5 and stick it out for a few weeks. It's not easy to. I keep saying it's not easy to do. It really isn't. You can, if you've got your usual tournaments that you play and you have a little bit of a bad run, you can brick them all quite easily in a week, and all of a sudden you're not in the top 20 and you drop down a level. But that's not the end of the world, though. It's easy to kind of you can have a couple of bad weeks and build it back up. I think Tony Ross has got up to level 5, all the way back down to level 2, and then back up to level 5 again. So it can be done. But Mark's not going to complain. He's still in this as finally the bubbles burst now in this.
Here we go. Final table, right?
No, 2 tables.
We've got 2 left, have we?
Yeah, we've got 2 tables left. So yeah, 2 left. So but Mark has made it into the money. He's 14th of 14 in this event now, but he has made it into the money in this one as well. So it'll be another nice cash. Terry Bowker's also in there as well. David Nee from Ireland, regular player with APAT is there, and obviously Dan Howson that we mentioned earlier on the table that we're watching. This normally plays out reasonably quick on a Sunday night. Once the money hits, you tend to find that the bounty tournaments do play a little bit more aggressive anyway, a little bit quicker in their flow. Sire's all in here and gets a call from Marc Antoine, who's ahead.
Wow.
On the turn, hitting his 3, calls with a Jack 3 offsuit.
Hits that 3.
And hits the 3. Decided it was enough to go for it. And as I say, they'll start dropping. Yeah, Mark Shepstone finished in 13th. He's bust on the other table. So he's a goner. And as I say, we're down to 12 now already. This will get down to a final table quite quickly. All in the call here. Henrik with the A7 is ahead. But wow, what a flop for Stephen to hit. And Stephen Mullen's going to get a double up there with his Queen 10, flopping Queen 10. Doesn't get much better than that for you. That's for sure. So I'll just keep an eye on both tables now, but we'll just follow this one for the time being. But Stephen very much back in the mix now. That puts him up over 30 bigs. And pretty much level with Henrik now, who was chip leader not that long ago. So we'll see who gets decides to get a little bit more aggressive with their play. Maybe playing a few more hands, start putting a bit more pressure on players. And it's Dan who starts that off. Only a min raise. Gets called by Stephen. And continuation bet from Dan on that flop, and Stephen's out the way. He's playing out the big blind. It's fairly easy to make a call there, isn't it? And just want to see a flop. Some people will say that's kind of a leak in the game. Looking to see cheap flops out of the blinds, but I've seen plenty of other players that actually can use it in quite a profitable way themselves. Thomas all in, raised from David Nee initially, and Thomas has only got 6.5 bigs, so they've all gone in the middle. Let's see where the blinds go out the way. I think David's going to have to make a call here, whatever he does. It's ace jack versus sevens. Pretty straightforward race. It's the sevens that are at risk, and
there's the jack.
Turn is going to be enough, I think. Yeah. And we lose Thomas. Poop up.
Lucky Thomas.
Thomas playing out of Malta. So he finishes in 12th. And on we go. Are they all reasonably level? There's no real short stacks on the other table. As Henrik is now all in. So it'll be really interesting to see in the UK now whether we get Poker Back live. Obviously, the Hippodrome event sounds like it was a success.
Grosvenor have done
And
some
there's
stuff as well,
and
Lee, I
and
think.
yeah, yeah, and Grosvenor, well, they've had certainly had cash games going. I'm not sure
Yeah.
they had one or two tournaments as well, I think.
I think they're
But
more like smaller local type events, but I dare
yeah,
say, they will come back. And those were within selected venues. Not all venues are running tournaments yet.
but it's going to be a completely different landscape anyway, because in the UK, Genting have are completely pulled out of poker. So you're kind of left with Grosvenor and then the kind of the independents as such. I mean, okay, the Hippodrome is technically a Poker Stars venue, but that that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's the only one. Obviously, it's
Yeah.
fairly London. It's London centric from that point of view. So it'll be interesting to see as Henrik's all in with the ace 10 and hits a 10. So it's going to need to be a spade for Marc Antoine, and he gets there
Spade on the end.
spade on the river for Marc Antoine. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Dust Till Dawn, for the videos that Rob's put up, they've this graffiti on the front pillars, and the back
No.
smoking area got all smashed up.
Saw that.
A couple of months back, and he seemed quite deflated about it. But I mean, obviously, to even get that club up and running, it's not a case of just opening the doors tomorrow. I mean, that's probably weeks, if not months, of planning to get it open and cleaned and everything back, and get everything back up to order. As he said, it had been closed for pretty much 18 months. Even things like the kitchens and stuff will need a deep clean and everything else to open up, and all this kind of process. He's certainly not going to do it. Couldn't even get the lights on the video he posted up today. So they had the electrician coming. They had the electrician coming in. There was a problem with the with the power. So it's certainly not going to be anything. They're not going to rush into it. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything from Dusk Till Dawn until, even if Rob made the decision, okay, yeah, we're going to be good to get stuff open. I can't see anything happening much before September and October. And of course, as you mentioned earlier on, Des, is you're then piling into World Series for those that are going to travel. We've got 2 all in, and of course, actually 1 on each table at the moment. So Stephen's all in with King 4 against Dan's 9s.
Dan's going to take that.
And the 9s are going to be good. And on the other table, Pavlos had Jack 10 against Imre's Ace 5, and the Ace 5 is good. So we lose. We're going to lose Pavlos as well from Greece. So we're down to 9. That's how quickly this happens with this turbo PKO on a Sunday.
I like it,
Yeah.
Lee. This is fast and furious. To be honest, at the end of a week, this is the sort of tourney you want. Mark has departed for bed, so good night to you, Mark.
Yeah. So it will be interesting to see come the autumn, because obviously there's lots of tournaments normally planned in the autumn. So you've always got a couple of events out in Malta. You've normally got the Caribbean Party Poker Caribbean Party that takes place. The IPO over in Dublin happens around then. And of course, now all of a sudden the World Series of Poker has been plonked into this autumn schedule. And obviously nobody normally puts anything on during the World Series. Normally, which is, May, June into a little bit of July normally. Because everybody knows, well, anyone who's anybody is going to at some point be making a trip over to Vegas to play in that. So they tend to avoid it. Of course, what do they do now? Do they all just step aside and let them do their thing, or will you see some people putting these events on? Talking to David Lappin last week on the show, his view was, if I've got an event that's on my doorstep, I'm probably more likely to want to play that at the moment than get on a plane and go to Vegas. So it could well mean that the hopes of the World Series of Poker maybe being the biggest ever, which was is what they were talking about potentially, because everybody's got the bug to want to get back playing live. They might find that they might have quite a lot of kind of North American players, but they might find that actually the traveling contingent from the rest of the world is not anywhere near the numbers that they would normally get.
Well, as he said, a significant tournament, so a big one. But of course, the World Series of Poker is going to be big. It's going to be very, very big. It'll be interesting to hear, Lee, what plans they have for streaming, broadcasting. Presumably it'll be on CBS now. I think ESPN have dipped out, so it'll be interesting to see whether we get any coverage on this side of the pond. There's all sorts of
Did we not? Am I
questions.
Right? we did get we were picking coverage up in the UK via BT Sport, weren't we?
Yeah, yeah, but
Yeah.
that was an ESPN relationship
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So whether that continues or not, I don't know. Whether some of the channels that live really deep down the sky, EPG, decide to pick up some coverage again. It's not
I've no
impossible.
idea. I've no idea where CBS is kind of shown. Just as we've got it's two lots of aces in, and
Oh,
David
it's
Nee's hit
10.
10 as well. So the 7 on the river for Henrik's not going to help him in the slightest. There's nothing worse than yeah, hitting
Get in
your
there and it not
hitting
being
your
enough.
kicker, and it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him, but it's a nice double up for David. Yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens. But obviously the fantasy World Series of Poker comp is already out there. If you go and check that out,
Yeah.
Carl and John are running that the APAT version of that again this year. Pick any 10 players. So if you fancy getting involved in that, I think you'll find it on there. There's a link to it on the Facebook group as well. So
Absolutely. But listen, what do you
go check
guys
it out.
think? I mean, are you going to the World Series of Poker? Would you go to the World Series of Poker? Are you looking forward to it? Just give us a shout out in the chat box. Let us know what you are thinking. I have to say, I'm pretty excited about it, Lee. After the gap that we've had to a big live festival, it just can't come quickly enough, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's say whether it's a case of watching it at home or maybe even be able to do a trip out there. Although I'm hearing rumors that some of the hotel prices in Vegas are going through the roof at the moment
Really?
as well. Yeah, the Bromleys were telling me that some of the strip hotels are charging $4,000 for a week,
Wow.
which is
What? How
yeah,
much?
$4,000 apparently.
That's exorbitant. I mean, what?
Yeah, but you're seeing that in the UK as well, with a lot of the holiday destinations in the UK, holiday cottages and that type of thing, and whatever.
Yeah, but
Yeah, they're
these
not
aren't.
just
Well, these aren't
yeah.
holiday cottages, right? These
No, no,
are
no, no, no. Yeah,
large hotels.
but they can only be charging those prices because there's a demand. I mean, from what I can understand, is Vegas is very much open and it's busy.
Wow.
So if Vegas is open and busy, that's how it works, isn't it? They know they can charge.
I
If
wonder if
the
it.
hotel was half empty, then they would obviously
Yeah.
be looking to fill it. So
I wonder if it coincides with any, holidays over there because Thanksgiving or whatever, because that can drive prices, as we know. Obviously, the dates have moved, but you'd have to say hotel prices during the summer series generally are pretty good.
yeah. Oh no, yeah. I wouldn't complain about anything out there during the summer. I think it's a case of. I mean, I've looked at the schedule and I'm not overly fussy when I go. I just fancy going at some point. I'm not targeting any particular events or anything like that. In fact, I've never. In fact, the 2 trips I've done before, I've never actually enjoyed the World Series tournaments that I've played. It's been really weird, just the experiences I've had of the Rio. Just I've not enjoyed that. I've much more enjoyed other tournaments, other card rooms that actually I think are just better and more, say, um, less kind of crazy than the Rio. So it's not really a place that I've kind of enjoyed playing poker.
Well, it's
Well, I know
big.
for some people
Everything
it's
about it is
just
big.
yeah. But I've much preferred playing at the Wynn or the Venetian or Planet Hollywood. I understand Planet Hollywood are closing their card room. Well, technically their card room was just in the middle of the casino next to one of the restaurants. But obviously, when during the World Series they have a whole big area up on their mezzanine floor upstairs, and that's okay. The dealers aren't great, and some of the tournament structures aren't brilliant. But actually, again, it's a more enjoyable environment for me anyway.
We had Sean, the cardroom director of the Aria, on
Mm.
the orbit of 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing great things, as I understand it.
Yeah, again, for World Series, they tend to have a lot of their daily tournaments, or used to have a lot of the daily tournaments out kind of in between all the slots, kind of thing, in an area just outside of the poker room. And this is the thing, is during the World Series, obviously the card rooms, a lot of the poker rooms themselves are just full with cash. They don't even need to run tournaments in those. So they tend to, some of the casinos will have tournament areas separated from it. I think the win of redone their card room. Actually their poker room is phenomenal. It looks amazing. But the tournaments I played last time I was out there were in a separate tournament area during the Worlds. And David Need picks up a few chips there with his queen. Good. So yeah, we're just kind of stuck here with 9 players. I'm pretty sure it'll go to an 8-handed final table. As David's hit his king, Henrik's going to need a 9 or an ace or a jack, and doesn't get there. And so we're going to lose Henrik, who was chip leader for a reasonably chunky portion of this. And we're down to 8. Chip leader now is Dan Houston on the table we're watching.
What a player.
It's got 30 bigs. And we're just waiting for the other table to complete. So I may well lose this table before he does, and I'll bring up a final table if that's what we've gone to.
That's totally fine.
Other hand, we've got King 9 versus Queens versus Ace Jack. The King is hit on the turn and bust 2 players. So we are going to be going to a final table. That is 100% happening. So I will as soon as that's brought up. Now we are down to we're down to 6. We're going to be starting this final table with 6. That's how crazy this particular tournament
it's like a mix max, Lee.
It's insane, isn't it? So right, you should have that table nowadays.
Okay,
we'll be good to go. So the 6 players we've got left on this this tournament that's literally went from 9 to 6 in 2 hands, on one on each table. Imre is just about the chip leader with 1.2 million in chips, but actually just only a few behind is David Nee from Ireland. Dan Houston's in third with just over 1 million in chips. Then there's a bit of a jump actually to Mark Antoine from Canada, who's got 500,000. Ronan Harty from Ireland with 390,000, and bringing up the field in 6th is Terry Bowker from the UK. He's got 200k. Blinds are 17,500, 35,000. So very much Terry's there with just over 5 bigs. But this is going to I would expect this to be reasonably lively.
I would think so, yeah.
As we go now, Terry is actually in the big blind, so let's see whether any of the other players decide to put any pressure on it. And David does.
I think Terry's going to be in here with all sorts, Lee.
Yeah, is he going to say, "Well, I'll take my chances here now"? Well, he's made the call, so he's got 3 bigs left now, which is half the pot.
He's got to like those cards, right?
He's got kings. He's got kings, Des. He's got kings.
Fooled us all. We should have known. We should have known.
Slow played the kings.
Fantastic.
Got maximum value for him. To be fair, David wasn't going anywhere with the pocket jacks either.
Well, Lee, listen, I made a bad joke there. I said Terry would be in with all sorts. You missed it completely. And he had kings.
Very good. Very good. Yeah. I'm more of a Jelly Babies fan, to be honest. So.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, so that's given him a little bit of breathing space. He's now up to just over 10 bigs. So similar to the stack that Mark Antoine's on, actually. So. Our shorter stack now at the table, Ronan, is playing this hand against Dan Houston.
Listen, Lee.
10-10.
Igor's hanging on for APAT. So forget the World Series of Poker, right? It's APAT. That's the next live event he wants to go to.
Well,
he's quite right.
I think as we've said, because we've been asked the question so many times throughout the APAT show during lockdown. I mean, my gut feel is still that we probably won't see a live APAT event until early next year, but that's not to say that if things do kind of open up in the UK, we see Rob at Dusk Till Dawn in Nottingham opening up and kind of guiding things a little bit, just as Dan's all in with King 10. Ronan's got the 6s. It's the 6s at risk, and Dan's got there on the river with a straight. Hits his gut shot with the.
He certainly had outs, Lee. He had outs.
Sorry, not gut shot. He was up and down, straight drawing. So we lose Ronan. Yeah. So I think there's potential that maybe we might be able to squeeze something in towards the end of the year as a one-off tournament. But the likelihood is that we'll be looking at a schedule for 2022 which seems quite scary to even be saying that we've pretty much written off um, most of 2020 and most of 2021 for live poker, which is something which APAT has been doing now for well over a decade. Um, it is, yeah, it's quite mind-boggling, really, that's the case. But when we do come back, it'll be back with a bang, that's for sure. And but most importantly, it will be back ensuring that players' safety is very much the number one focus. Although what they choose to do at the bars, drinking, we can't control that. So,
We've never been able to control that, Lee.
definitely not. I mean, I dread to think how some of the casinos have managed with the lack of APAT bar takings for the last 18 months.
I mean, it's almost certainly been nearly as big a decrease, reason as the pandemic. No APAT.
I mean, what I was thinking is they're talking about dropping the furlough scheme, in September, and I was thinking, well, if we that could be balanced out by APAT putting on some events, because the takings at the bar would pretty much balance out the economy, wouldn't it? It would pretty much get them there. So raise from Imre again, which has been called by Dan in the big blind. They're the two big stacks at this final table, these final five now. Nice payday for this one, though. $22 buy-in. So we're already at fifth place now. So these guys are guaranteed $70 plus whatever they picked up in bounties. Top two will get $236 plus their bounties. So yeah, if they've been quite aggro with their bounty getting, they could end up picking about $500 here. Ace Jack against 5-6. Terry's hit is 5.
Oh, it's diamonds.
Oh, and he's been done on the river with the ace. And we're going to lose Terry in fifth place.
Lucky Terry.
But decent for Terry, though. He picked up $10 with the bounties plus $70 in the prize pool. So $80 for him for a $22 buy-in. So that's nice. Quadrupled his money there. Got to be happy with that. But yeah, some of these guys, so Imre and David have both already picked up like $75 worth of bounties already in this tournament. So, and as we always say with this, is once you get to heads up, that's where winning that heads up can significantly boost your bounties. You're picking up everything that's left on the table effectively. So we'll see how this plays out. Plays out now. So, do you think what's your view on whether there will be kind of a serious UK event before the end of the year? Something pretty big.
Well, I don't think there'll be something pretty big, because I think I just suspect that 7-seater tables or 6-7 are going to be the norm, I think, for the remainder of this year. Hello.
Imre's got there again, 7-9 against 5, so it was very much a race, and he's hit his 7 on the turn, and then just for good measure has made his straight on the river. So very much catching up Dan's stack now, and David's is the shorty here, and is going to be at trouble. And Dan's now applying pressure on Imre's raise, and gets that one through. David Nee's really going to have to. Pick his spot here, I think, against these two big stacks.
Just a call there from Imre. So we see a flop. 19 Queen, Rainbow. Little raise, cheeky little raise.
He's always going to fire out on that, though, because he's just finding out where he is. Because if David's called that in with, even with something like an ace king or a ace ace jack, or even ace 8, something like that, it's very difficult for him to then make the call.
Yeah.
So the big stack is always going to fire out and find out where they're at, because that's just what
And
you
he's
should be
found
doing.
out for the smallest amount possible, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. This is where you kind of wish we had Dan on the show, isn't it? Because we could just we could
Pick
just
his brains.
yeah. Dan, if you're watching, you know the link. Just log, yeah, get yourself on. It just makes such a difference. As actually
Oh,
Dan's made the
hello.
call with 6-7. He's hit his 7, so just needs to avoid an 8. Well, actually
Instead
doesn't
of
need to worry
6.
about that now, because once he's hit the 2 pair on the turn, that's going to be good enough. And we're going to lose David, who's had a cracking run there. He's going to finish in 3rd place, but he's picked up about $220 there. So well done to him. And we are heads up.
It's been a cracking little final table, this, Lee.
Yeah,
It's gone quickly,
Imre
but very neat.
Imre from Hungary against Dan from the UK, but more accurately, the Welshman.
Do you know, talking of Hungary, you will recall, I'm sure, Victoria Shalazli? No, I'm saying that's so wrong.
Yeah.
Szilárd, Hungarian player. Of course, we both met in Wiener Neustadt back in 2008, I'm going to say. Victoria is now ultra distance runner. You know, very, very
really?
successful,
Wow.
holds national records in Canada and in various other countries.
Oh, wow. And that is...
wow, there we go.
That is that. So Imre went for that to try and, basically try and steal it. Shoved it all in with Jack 8, completely missed. And Dan had turned the flush, the diamonds, so said thanks very much. I've got the nuts, so I think I'll call that, to be perfectly honest. So Imre from Hungary finishes in 2nd place and picks up a nice cool $330 in the end. And as I said to you, Des, I had a funny feeling with bounties if they went the right way. Dan Austin from the UK. Dan's just messaged me to say he'd have logged in, but if he'd have been in time. So he was watching. And so Dan picks up just over $500 for a $22 entry, which and that's a lovely little tournament on the Sunday night, runs for about 2.5 hours. So Dan's turned $22 into just over $500 on a Sunday night. Yeah, can't ask for much more than that, can you really?
Cannot argue with that, Lee, I have to say. So, listen, I guess we are going to leave you on that note. A big thank you and well done to all of the winners, all of the players that have played APAT events in the last week. Good luck playing similar tournaments. Next week, of course, Lee and I are going to be back tomorrow evening at what, Lee, around 7 o'clock? Is it 7 o'clock we're kicking off?
So 7 o'clock, we'll see the recommencement of the No Limit Hold'em event. That's 16 players left in that. Roman Mavicic from Russia is currently chip leader in that, 1.3 million in chips. And the PLO will start at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
14 players coming back in that. We are going to have a money bubble on that because it's only paying 13. But as I've promised, whoever finishes in 14th, we will sort them out an extra online ticket so they don't go home empty-handed from a... Oh, can you imagine? They won't sleep well tonight. You know what I mean? So ready for a day 2.
I think they'll be okay, Lee. I think they'll be fine, I have to say. But it's a good gesture to add a little ticket there for the bubble. Boy or girl?
One little quick shout out. We mentioned Dan that finished that won the closer. Well done to him. Deep stack earlier on tonight. Maurice O'Connell from Ireland, a win for Ireland in an APAT event, picked up $787. So well done to you, Maurice. That was earlier on this evening. But we'll do it all again tomorrow from 7 o'clock.
See you guys tomorrow at 7.